Right then, gather round, history enthusiasts and condiment connoisseurs, because today we're diving fork first into the frankly baffling origins of something utterly inescapable in modern life: ketchup. Yes, that glorious crimson goo that dominates nearly every fridge door across the globe. It's the undisputed, sticky sweet monarch of your sauces, isn't it? Slathered on everything from the humble chip, or fry if you insist, to the rather questionable decision of a hot dog. Some brave, or perhaps foolish souls even dollop it onto their eggs. And I've seen with my two monocle-adjusted eyes, it's been known to utterly desecrate a perfectly respectable steak. Oh, the horror! We treat it like a divine right, a culinary given, without a second thought, never pausing to ponder its bizarre pharmaceutical past. But before it became this humble hero of the barbecue, this sugary siren of the snack table, ketchup had a secret life. A life far stranger, far more medically dubious than you could possibly imagine. Prepare yourselves, for we are about to journey into a world where this unassuming bottle held the astonishing promise of health. Now, before we plunge further into ketchup's pharmaceutical fantasy, let's rewind even further. Because the journey of the tomato itself, from botanical outcast to condiment king, is a saga of magnificent absurdity. Picture this: our vibrant, juicy hero, beloved by chefs today, was once eyed with extreme suspicion. For centuries, across much of Europe, the humble tomato wasn't just not a food, it was considered downright deadly. Yes, that innocent orb of redness was dubbed the wolf peach. A rather ominous moniker, wouldn't you say? They genuinely believed it was poisonous, that its bright hue screamed danger. Rich Europeans particularly felt ill after eating them, not realizing it was the acidic fruit reacting with their fancy pewter plates, leaching lead into their unsuspecting supper. So they blamed the tomato. "Aha!" they cried, "it's the devil's fruit. It kills." Imagine the sheer, glorious irony then when this poisonous pariah, this scarlet harbinger of doom, suddenly rebranded itself. Not as a delicious snack, mind you, but as a miracle medicine. Because of course, what better cure for what ails you than a fruit everyone thinks is trying to kill you? The audacity.
Right? So from devil's fruit to divine remedy. What a glow-up! Enter stage left, Dr. John Cook Bennett of Ohio, a man apparently unafraid of a bit of culinary controversy. In the 1830s, when everyone else was still clutching their pearls at the sight of a tomato, Old Dog Bennett boldly declared it a medicinal marvel. Not just any marvel, mind you. Oh no! He claimed this formerly deadly fruit could cure indigestion and, rather crucially for the delicate sensibilities of the era, the dreaded runs. He claimed this formerly deadly fruit could cure indigestion and, rather crucially for the delicate sensibilities of the era, the dreaded runs. Yes, folks, the very thing that makes you sprint to the nearest, well, you know what. He wasn't just suggesting a nibble either. He was promoting tomato ketchup, or at least a very early, very medicinal precursor to it, as a powerful digestive aid. Imagine, from a suspected assassin to a gastrointestinal guardian angel, all thanks to one rather audacious doctor. It was practically a medical rebranding campaign for the ages. Got the jitters? Have a tomato. Tummy troubles? More tomato. The man was practically selling liquid sunshine for your insides, packaged as a condiment. The sheer audacity of prescribing a poison as a panacea. Truly, the medical world of the 19th century never disappointed in its theatrical flair.
Now, if one audacious doctor could turn a poison into a panacea, imagine what an entrepreneur could do. Enter stage right, the venerable Dr. Miles, who saw Dr. Bennett's tomato cure idea and thought, Magnificent! But where's the pill? Because naturally, everything truly medicinal in the 19th century simply had to come in a convenient, swallowable form. He didn't just sell ketchup, oh no, he sold ketchup pills. Yes, folks, not a sauce, but a solid dose of, well, largely unsubstantiated hope. He packaged up these miraculous little fruity spheres and claimed they could cure anything. Indigestion? Pop a ketchup pill. Rheumatism? Ketchup pill. Gout? Ketchup pill. Bad hair day? You guessed it, ketchup pill. It was the ultimate cure-all, promising salvation with a slightly acidic aftertaste. Imagine your Victorian pharmacist earnestly recommending a fruity punch for your crippling existential dread. Just take 2 ketchup pills and your woes will vanish. The marketing was, shall we say, robust. They marketed it with all the zeal of a modern-day influencer hawking detox teas, but with the added gravitas of a top hat and a dubious medical degree. It wasn't just medicine, it was a lifestyle. A slightly tomato-y, questionable lifestyle. But alas, dear viewers, even the most robust marketing delivered by a man in a top hat with questionable medical ethics could not defy the immutable laws of actual science. Shocking, I know. These miraculous ketchup claims were, to put it mildly, largely unsubstantiated. A fancy word for utter nonsense if you're keeping score. There was, surprisingly, absolutely zero peer-reviewed evidence suggesting that a concentrated tomato product could cure anything from scurvy to a grumpy disposition. From scurvy to a grumpy disposition. Public ridicule, much like a bad case of indigestion, was utterly inevitable. People quickly realized their miracle cure was just glorified fruit paste, and not even a particularly tasty one. The scientific community, bless their meticulous hearts, began to weigh in, pointing out the glaring lack of, efficacy. Glaring lack of, efficacy. And so, the great ketchup con began to unravel faster than a cheap waistcoat. Dr. Miles's ketchup pills, once heralded as the zenith of modern medicine, quickly plummeted in popularity. They went from must-have to oh dear lord, no thank you with startling speed. Ketchup's brief, glorious, and utterly ridiculous stint as a pharmaceutical powerhouse was over. It had tried to be a doctor, a healer, a veritable modern marvel, and failed spectacularly. But fear not, this downfall paradoxically cleared the way for its true destiny. For now, let's just chuckle at the sheer audacity. But here's where history, bless its twisted heart, throws us a rather delicious curveball. Ketchup's dramatic fall from medical grace wasn't the end. Oh no, it was merely its awkward, flavorful teenage phase. Once people stopped trying to cure ailments with it, they started tasting it. And lo and behold, concentrated tomatoes, vinegar, and spices, while terrible for scurvy, are rather splendid on a bland potato. The very thing that doomed it as a miracle cure, its flavor, suddenly became its greatest asset. This grand pharmaceutical flop actually paved the way for ketchup's true destiny. From a quack medicine promising eternal youth, it elegantly pirouetted into the realm of pure, unadulterated deliciousness. No longer burdened by absurd medical claims, it was free to be a condiment. It shed its doctor's coat, picked up a chef's hat, and started a new life, one squeeze at a time. Suddenly, the public wasn't demanding it for indigestion, but for their hot dogs, their chips, their everything. The lesson? Sometimes failure is just a rather messy, tomato-stained roadmap to culinary success. And so, our once maligned cure-all finally found its true calling, cementing its place as a kitchen staple. So, the next time you're mindlessly squeezing that glossy red goodness onto your chips, pause just for a moment. Consider the humble journey of this condiment. From a feared, poisonous nightshade to a miraculous cure-all for, well, everything, that somehow morphed into a pill. Yes, a pill. A tomato pill promising eternal vitality, only to become the subject of glorious public ridicule. It was a drug, a quack remedy, a medical marvel, until it finally realized its true calling, making your French fries tolerable. History, my dear friends, is rarely linear. It's often a tangled, saucy mess, full of well-intentioned, utterly bizarre detours. Who knew a simple squeeze could carry such historical baggage? A liquid that once promised eternal health now merely promises to stain your shirt. Proof positive that truth is not only stranger than fiction, but sometimes far, far tastier. So go forth, embrace your saucy past. And if you've enjoyed this absurd trip down condiment lane, perhaps consider subscribing, lest you mistakenly try to cure a cold with a bottle of Heinz. We wouldn't want you to repeat history now, would we? Unless it involves more ridiculous stories like this. Sir Chuckleton, out!